Hey, in this one, we're talking about why I'm not really chasing money, but rather trying to add more value to the world. But first, some coffee.
On that coffee break, can't even stay awake. I can listen to Drake, all the haters snakes.
And we're back, but not really. I've been here this whole time. It's you who hasn't been noticing me. I think in a world like we are in today, it's important to have this conversation though about money versus value. We're not taught this in high school. The average parent never really talks to us about this. It's such a simple thing though, yet seems so complicated, because rarely anybody sheds light on it. And it's been on my mind a lot lately. So let's talk about it. Here's the thing though. We're usually being directed towards money or fame, right? If you're a functioning individual in this mass society that we've set up for ourselves, it's really centered around things like money and status, pretty much. There's no getting around that, right? And oftentimes money is intertwined with status. So it's essentially money. It makes sense though. Because as I talked about it in another one of my episodes, more money means better survival, right? So why wouldn't we want more money? But see, here's where I think we've been wrong, where when we're under the poverty line, right? Money or lack thereof acts as a stressor. It gets us anxious because we don't know how we'll be able to afford basic human needs such as food or water or shelter. But once we reach a certain threshold where we have enough food in the fridge, a roof, some savings in the bank, debt collectors at bay, then we're satisfied with our needs, right? Studies show that that's the sweet spot for our well-being. If we try to earn more money than that point, right, we don't necessarily become more satisfied or more happy, in our lives. Our quality of life when it comes to materialistic things may improve, but our quality of life in terms of our mental well-being doesn't really improve that by that much. Again, that's not me, that's scientists telling us this. Don't shoot the messenger. Here's the thing though. When I was a young kid, I was obsessed with cars and planes like many other kids. I used to have a private jet as my wallpaper, or a Bugatti or something, or something like that. I wanted to have them, for some reason it felt as if life would be complete once I was at a stage where I could afford them. But I was a kid. Kids are naive, sure, it's nice to have these things, but they don't necessarily add to the quality of life, right? The more I spent time in this world, the more I realized that I personally wasn't interested in attaining large sums of money or fame or whatever. Sure, it'd be nice to have because I won't have to worry about being able to afford anything ever, right? But it's not an active motivator for me. It doesn't get my juices flowing, thinking about a bank account with tens of millions in it. Same goes for fame. I truly don't care about how many people follow me on Instagram, right? Or how many people listen to my music. Sure, it's nice to have the attention. I can't escape my human nature, right? But I essentially cannot be motivated by the thought of money or fame. Trust me, I've tried to be motivated by them because that's what's normal, right? Look at how it's all set up. We're in school since we can remember, right? With our teachers telling us that we need to be successful with our grades so that we can grow up to have great jobs and blah, blah, blah. That's a motivator right there, right? Great jobs mean great money and great status and blah, blah, blah. Emphasis is usually not put on what would make us content, what would make us excited about each day as an adult. So we have a skewed perception of what we should really want from the start. But I'm not hating on anybody who does have an inclination towards money or fame, right? What I am saying is that we aren't told to follow what we're naturally inclined towards. We're told to follow money and status, usually, which is kind of backwards, I think. We're all different people inclined to do different things, but I guess I shouldn't hold only the education system accountable for how we turn out. It's every figure who has a shadow over us, while we're growing up, parents, family, TV, anything. Movies like Wolf of Wall Street, for example, attracted so many people because of the appeal of money. People loved seeing the lavish lifestyle that DiCaprio and Scorsese portrayed in that movie. That's how they marketed that movie, actually, right? But I haven't heard many people talk about the true message of that movie, which was that his relentless pursuit of money and status is what destroyed him. Ultimately, it portrayed the dangers of trying to attain things too fast and cutting corners while hurting others. It showed what being obsessed with material things can do to you. This though. I mean, we shouldn't focus on material things because our time here is so limited. And we can't take anything with us once we leave this place. You know what it is? I feel like I've taken a lot from the world all these years, and I've taken love and care from my parents. I've taken education from my teachers. I've just been absorbing and absorbing and absorbing. Now I just want to give back, kind of. I want to add value. It took me a while to figure this out, though. We're all born with specific skills or talents or whatever you want to call it. We naturally gravitate towards specific things, and we should gravitate towards that and not fight it, because we're also diverse in what we are naturally inclined towards, that if we all practiced it, the world would probably be a much better place. At least I think so. I don't know how it works or why it works, but that's what diversity is. I mean, that's why diversity kind of works. Just a chaos of different minded individuals making the world an interesting and better place. But again, I'm not hating on people who just attain money for the sake of attaining money. That's fine. Some people are just naturally inclined to do just exactly that. But I do believe that whatever it is we're doing, we need to give more to the world, than we take. That should be the general principle here. That's the only way we can move forward as a collective. Nobody talked to me about this, everybody was all like, do this so you can get that, get this so you can get more of that, Nobody told me that. Okay, just add value to the world in whatever way, and chances are that you get enough to at least survive. Okay, I'm sure you've heard this principle somewhere in life. We all have some sort of something that we can utilize to add value to the world. If we're all following the same schools of thought and providing the same exact thing to the world, then all of the other things that could be brought to the world won't essentially exist. I get it though. We need to earn money to survive, so we get better jobs. Then that takes a lot of our time and our energy. Then we come home and we just want to relax, right? It's just, but have you ever thought of the fact that maybe, I don't know, you can do what you do best on your own time for a few years and then perhaps find a way to monetize it, Maybe that can be a way to have the cake and eat it too. That's what I'm trying to do, at least. The music industry is insanely competitive. It's insanely competitive. The market is filled with artists because the barrier to entry is really low these days. Now, I can't speak on the talent of most of these artists, but still, there are many artists making many songs, good or bad. So it's tough for me to make a name for myself, but I am working. I'm working away. When others are sleeping, I'm up working. When others are out with friends or getting drunk at some bar, I am working. I do this because I love doing it, and also because perhaps in the future I'll be able to earn enough money off it to have it be my only job, you know? Anyways, you can always reach out to me if you want to talk more about this over on Instagram at I am Sahad. I'll see you in the next one.